Buying land in Uganda has become one of the hardest things to do, and it's even worse for those buying land for their very first time. A couple of challenges lie ahead of them. In this particular video, I want to share with you some golden tips that you can take to ensure that you buy your land and you're not duped, you're not cheated, you continue to enjoy this land until the day you actually die. So please sit back, relax, and watch until the end. Don't forget, I can help you buy land in Uganda even when you're not in the country. I can also help you even when you're in the country. We just agree on the terms of service and then boom, I lead you to the right person selling lands, because at least I've been recently doing that. I've bought land for several clients, and that's something I take pride in. Now, first things first, if you can afford to buy land, even if it's 60 or 70 kilometers away from the capital Kampala, please do buy land, because 5 years from now, you will not be in position. You won't afford to buy that land that you're despising, being far or being out of range or out of Kampala. Please buy today. Now, while it's true, buying land can be a very enterprising idea. Well, reason being, land appreciates in just no minute. If you bought land today at 50 million, you can sell it at 60 million tomorrow, because land appreciates very, very, very quickly. But well, let's delve straight into some of the things that you need to do when buying land. Now, first things first, when buying land, there are different land tenure systems. There is Kabaka land, there is freehold land title, and then there is Milo land. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while it's true you can buy all these types of lands with these different land systems, I usually advise people that if you want serious business, please endeavor to buy private Milo land. I'm not saying or discouraging people from buying these other lands. You can buy them. There are people who've been successful in buying them. But one thing about private Milo land is it becomes yours. You own it until the day you die, except or unless otherwise things do not go your way. The only downside with buying Milo land is that it's a little bit expensive as opposed to the different other land tenure systems of land available in the country. So that's just that. But the benefit of it is once you get it, it's yours. You're free to do everything, anything that you wish to do with your land. The number one thing that you need to do is visit that site that people or that somebody is actually selling. A lot of us don't want to visit the sites. Like, you meet somebody in Kampala, they tell you have land this side, maybe you send somebody, or maybe you don't even send and you trust them. No, ladies and gentlemen, you need to go there physically and look at the land, okay? So that you appreciate the neighborhood, you appreciate some of the amenities that are on the land, among other things, so that you are not, because somebody will say, the road is passable. Honestly speaking, there could be a road, but it's impassable. Honestly speaking, there could be electricity, but it could be a distance. So please make sure you physically visit the land. Number two, when you find that land, make a land search at the Ministry of Lands in the district where your land is located. Now, how do you do the search at the Ministry of Land? Number one is somebody may not give you their land title for personal reasons, but let them give you details. Take, for example, plot number and block number. Those are the key things that you need, and perhaps the names in which these titles are, or this land title is registered. So once you get it, go run to the Ministry of Lands in that particular district where your land is situated, and you can as well get this the county or sub-county in which that title is registered, so that they help in quick searching of the details of that land. Now, at the land ministry, you pay roughly maybe 100 or 50, I don't know, different land ministries in different districts charge differently, but roughly around 100,000 shillings, and get an official land search. Here, they'll give you all the details about this land, whether it has a caveat, which names was it transferred to, who, what time, and whom does this land belong to. It's very important to ascertain. Now, when you get this land search, go back to the owner and try to compare if they match. The moment you find inconsistencies, please run for your dear life. That one is a fake person. Another mistake you shouldn't do, please let the owner take you physically to the land and shows you what they are selling. Take for example, there's a time I had some land to buy. Was it mine or for a client? Either way, it doesn't matter. But this is a scenario that happened. This gentleman, of course, the broker took us to the land, we saw the land. And then he wanted us to meet in Kololo to make the transaction. I told them, no, that's not how I know it's a bit inconveniencing, and somebody would argue and say, after all, you've seen the land, go and make the transaction. No, please don't do that. Once you have been shown by the broker, let the owner come and show you what they are selling. You cannot be selling tomatoes in Kampala while you cannot be selling tomatoes in Wakiso while you make the transaction in Kampala. It doesn't make sense. So first go to the land, let him take you to the land, and then from there you can proceed, go to Kampala if that is where your bank is, and then pay this gentleman. Another thing or another mistake you shouldn't do, or another thing you should do is, after you've been shown the land, the broker has perhaps gone, you've gone back, please come back alone and do what we call a village location or local background search. Yes, the Ministry of Land could have those details captured properly as this land belonging to this gentleman, but this gentleman may have actually sold this land to somebody else who may not have transferred the land title. And before you know it, they double sell the land to somebody else. So you want to avoid all those mistakes as much as you can. So come back, look for neighbors. If there are no neighbors neighboring that land, at least look for the local council chairperson. I think that is it. Yes, the LC1 chairperson. Okay. I know somebody will argue that titled land does not require the chairperson. Yes, we've seen those scenarios. Recently, just recently, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was almost being duped. Now, this is what happened. A person had been given about 8 acres. Now, they sold about 7 acres, meaning there was 1 acre that was remaining. Yet this person wanted to sell me 3 acres. Now, what happened was he had been given this land to do the subdivisions and titles, and and as a reward, he had been given 8 acres. Now, he had already sold 7, meaning it was only remaining 1. But for some reason, I don't know how, he cheated these persons, so he had claimed the 2 more acres to make 3 acres. Now, those were the 3 acres he was actually going to sell to us. Now, when I called the chairperson came around and actually told me, hey, you're buying 3 acres? This gentleman already sold 7 acres, whom we even know the person that he sold them to. So where is the 3 acres coming from? So it is then that they realized he had actually stolen 2 acres from their people who had entrusted him with that land. Now, if we had gone on to buy that land without the LC chairperson, trust me, there's no way we would have found out some of these details. So please ensure that you bring that chairperson. I know the chairperson needs some money, maybe 200, maybe 300, but please ensure that you give them that money so that you don't lose the bigger money. Okay, ensure that you do that. Okay, so these chairpersons know who the real owners of these lands are, and if they've sold them. And also, as much as it may not look important, please make a small agreement at the chairperson that this person has actually sold you the land. It actually saves you a little, like it may not look to be so important, but somewhere, somehow, later in the future, if things don't go your way, that agreement can actually save you. Another tip is, do not pay for that land until you survey it. Yes, mostly this goes to people who are buying small plots of land of 50 by 100. Those plots of land 50 by 100, by the mere look of like with your own eyes, you can tend to guess, like, I think it's 50 by 100. My goodness. When you go in actual measurement, it may be maybe 45 by 95. But because our eyes may not be in position to detect that, you'll have been duped. A good 50 by 100 may be about 12 decimals. Okay, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, you'll find that they have maybe 11 decimals or 11.5. Now, the moment you go below that, it means you'll be maybe getting 10 decimals. Now, the only disadvantage with that is that they do not give land titles of not 12 decimals or 50 by 100. So please ensure that you bring a survey to actually survey this land. The work of the surveyor is actually to first of all measure if what is on the land title is actually what is there. They confirm the shape of the land. They confirm whether this land is actually the one that is here because it has the prints on the land title. Okay. I know a professional surveyor could cost you maybe 200, 300 to about 500 or even 1 million depending on how big the land is. So please ensure that you bring a surveyor at whatever cost. Bring them to ascertain the measurements of this land. On the day you buy land, if you can afford to have a lawyer, if you can afford to have the LC chairperson, your spouse or any other person who can become a witness that you're actually buying this land, the better. Just in case things do not fall in what you want. You can always have a fallback. You can always have a witness in court because usually land issues, they'll question you when you're buying who was there. While it's street titled land, you need these people. A lawyer can help you verify whether the legal aspect of land, first of all, they will tell you, they'll advise you on what to do, on what not to do, among other things. Mostly when land, there are scenarios where you find that land is there, but somebody does not own the land title. Maybe this land title, and also, I've just remembered something. Have those lawyers, have those people around to act as witnesses. Now, when you're buying land and it has land title that has 3 people, please, before you give that person money, ensure that these people are all around to sign on the transfer form. Do not accept one person to sign on the transfer form. Let these people come with their national identities, national identity cards, so that you can confirm their identities. Sorry, I beg your pardon there. Okay, so once they come, let them sign on this, because there are scenarios where 2 of them agree, 1 does not agree. So 2 of them connive, and then they want to sell this land, and of course they collect money from you. As you come to start working on your land, you realize that the other person is still aggrieved, and before you know it, he's placed a caveat on the land, and you're now in court battling it out. Before you know it, you've lost your hard-earned money. So ensure that all the people that appear on the land title actually are available on the day you buy this land. On the day you choose to buy this land, you've gone to the surveyor, you've done a background check, the chairperson is around, your lawyer is available. Ensure that this seller gives you the original land title, the original copy of the land title, not a duplicate of it. Okay, also make sure that they give you signed transfer forms. You can come with the transfer forms yourself, or he can come with them. They should also give you a copy of their national identity cards. They should give you 2 passport photos and or anything else that the land office in your district might ask for at the time you are buying or you're willing to buy that land, because these things keep changing over time. I mean, the same details I used a couple of years ago may not necessarily be the same details being asked today. So ensure that you get to know the details that they want at the Ministry of Land for you to transfer that land title into your names. Now, ensure that they give you 2 passport photos, or 3 or 4, depending on what those officials at the Ministry of Lands will be asking. Immediately you pay for the land, start the transfer process and have that land title transferred in your names as soon as possible. Because there is a tendency of people selling the land twice. The seller can even go to police and claim he lost his land title, goes ahead to the land office and gets a new title and sells the land to a new person. This usually happens when somebody, take for example, they've been looking for land with a budget of 20, and boom, they get land that is exactly 20 million and they run out of cash. So what they do is they tend to relax a little bit and say, oh, when I get money, I'll go and transfer the land title. My friend, do not usually relax. The moment you get the land title, like today, ensure that you start on the process tomorrow, so that by the time this person wakes up or starts claiming or to claim this land, you'll have gone a step further, and before you know it, you'll have registered that land or transferred that land into your name. Please, please, please do it immediately, otherwise you'll be at stake. Another thing, and perhaps the last one, is please ask God to guide you. Pray hard, because, well, these tips I could give you, but some people out there have learned to bypass them. So endeavor to pray to God to guide you, to lead you to the right person selling land, to lead you to the right person, to lead you to the right land. And I have done that exceptionally very well. You don't have to be in the country, you just need to trust me. Whether you have relatives here that can accompany me when I'm going to buy this land for you, the better. I do this because a lot of people have been frustrated by their relatives, so we try to help people who've been let down by relatives to help them own lands that are titled. My name is Dennis Onyal. Until then, it's a goodbye. Have yourselves a great time.